Okay. Okay. Deciding factors.
Beautiful. So as you can see here, we're starting to create quite a long chain. We got what would bring a mind to become and remain all of this, because something kicked this off, why they chose to do this whole mask of perfection thing and then become this shit show. So what happens here is we're going to start here. A flow chart is here to show you the deciding factors. So in sort of the medium left area, we have start. So we're going to go right to the thing, and I'll cover it all. Is it too much self-love? If you answered yes, sorry, that's wrong. Someone who loves themselves even too much would have no need to create an imaginary perfect self, and in fact have a reason not to do this. And that would take away from loving who they already are. So we'll follow that arrow. Try again. Okay, is it too much self-love? No. Correct. In reality, egopaths hate their real self so much they pretend to be something they aren't so they can stop hating themselves. They
I
don't
can
like
agree
being
with them.
their
I hate
flawed
them
self.
too. I think they should hate themselves. They deserve to have all the nasty, dark, toxic self-hatred that they can carry with them. I agree with them there. Good.
Perfect.
Sorry.
So
I
one
get a
of the
little.
decide.
I just get a little heated up with this stuff because it actually does bring it up. I'm like, yeah, well, fuck you. You deserve to hate yourself. You deserve it. Look what you do.
Agreed.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Glad
So
I
we'll
can
move on to the
agree.
next thing.
That's the one. That's the one thing that I agree with the narcopath with. Yeah.
It's like
Hate
yeah,
yourself.
I can
Fine. I
second
hate your
that
guts
notion.
too. All right.
Yeah. So one of the deciding factors is self-hatred and not self-love. So let's just say it's that. And there is one other very important deciding factor. Is it cowardness? Let's say no. Wrong. They run away from their self-hatred instead of trying to be brave, to fight and overcome their own fear and hatred. They know how weak and fearful they are, and this causes their immense, never-ending self-hatred for never being better than a weak coward. Winners make progress, losers make excuses. Guess
Hear
what the
that,
mask of
Janarks? Did you hear
perfection
that,
is?
Janarks? You're weak. You're weak. Cowards and you're losers. Losers. Exactly. Loser narcopaths.
It's true. They are the biggest losers. They really are. All they do is cause loss. They don't cause wins.
Wow, that is nothing's more true than that. Is it cowardice?
Yeah, and so yeah, winners make progress, losers make excuses. So yeah, we'll go back to try again. Is it cowardness? Let's answer yes. Correct. In reality, egopaths fear feeling their self-hatred and choose to take the coward's path of seeing the pain, not the gain, the loser's path. They continue to choose it countless times over and over again instead of facing their childhood fears because they don't want to be a no good, weak, fearful failure, a nobody, and a loser. But they do the most cowardness thing you could possibly do. Acts of true courage are despised by them. This is why, if you fight back against a bully, that they actually don't like someone who fights back against the bully. This is when they try their zero tolerance crap, even though the bully did something wrong and was the perpetrator, was the instigator.
Uh-huh.
So it reminds them exactly of what they don't have. When you're brave, it reminds them of their cowardice. They want to see you as the coward, as the weak one, as the prey. And when you aren't, it causes them ego injury. That gives them narcissistic injury. That's why they never side with someone who fights back against a bully, because they're rooting for the bully. The target's bravery only makes the egopath hate themselves for their own cowardness, the absolute absence of any bravery.
Well,
So
that's
them
why
being
if you're close to one, sorry to interject on that. If you're close to one and someone has been like someone was rude to me occasionally, and it always puzzled me that they didn't take my side. I'm like, well, we're related. What the hell? Why are you? This person has clearly wronged me, and you're gonna take. They can't stand it. They absolutely can't stand it. Isn't that crazy? Now that's a red flag. That's a red flag right there.
That's right. And so, yeah, them being self aware literally goes against everything the egopath believes in about themselves. So, when they say they're self aware, they're really not. They're really fucking not. They're aware of what they do, but they're not aware of just what a piece of shit there is. Their entire goal is to not think of themselves as a piece of shit anymore with the mask of perfection. They don't want to be self aware ever. So yeah, self-awareness requires self-reflection, and that requires being honest with yourself. They
Uh-huh.
aren't honest with themselves in the least.
No, they're not.
So if we take a look here at the top right now, this is good. If you've ever watched the movie The Matrix, you'll get
Oh,
this.
one of my favorites.
Yeah, the ego path's massive perfection is their everything, to pretend away who they really are. Just like in the movie The Matrix, ego paths metaphorically took the blue pill because they want to go on believing whatever they want to believe
Right.
rather than live in the real world. Yep. And so here's a life lesson. Never expect honesty or improvement from those who won't even be honest with themselves. When they're lying to themselves about what they did, they're not going to change. They're not. And if you look, I made a little pyramid in the top right,
Uh-huh.
and at the bottom it says being honest with yourself. You have to have that in order to achieve self-reflection, and you have to have self-reflection in order to be self-aware, and you have to be self-aware in order to better yourself, in order to stop being such a piece of shit.
Yeah, did you hear that? Stop being a piece of shit. Then you can better yourself. You have to be aware. They're not aware. It all goes back to the mask of perfection. Every single bit of it. Their mask. That is their identity. That
That's
and
right. You're gonna love the next slide. You're gonna absolutely
okay,
love it.
going to the next one. All right.
Perfect. So now we're gonna try and open up egopathy chain, like a bike chain or a
Got
chain of
chain. Okay.
chain smoke.
Yeah, chain smoking.
Perfect.
Okay.
So this beautiful picture here, and don't worry, guys, we're getting to the end of these pictures.
No, I'm enjoying them. These are all new to me. I haven't seen these until this conversation just now. So y'all stick around. If they stuck through this long, it's very interesting. Well, it is interesting whether they stuck around this long or not. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, if we take a quick look here, you can see that before the mask of perfection, I've now added in the deciding factors. The problem is cowardness and self-hatred. They hate themselves that they're such a coward. And then their solution is the blue pill, which is pretend it all away. That's what leads to their mask of perfection. That what leads to this whole shit show. They're cowards. They really are. And they
Uh-huh.
hate themselves.
Exactly. As they should.
Yeah, and they really, and the funny thing is they whatever hatred they had for themselves, they decided that their best path was to pretend that they're this great person instead of going, you know what? That person might be saying bad things about me. I don't believe that. I'm better than that. Or working on themselves and fixing themselves. They never did any of that. They don't give a shit.
Mm-mm.
So here's the beauty of this. All of this psychological diagrams that I've shown here, this applies to any ego path of any age, from age like 6, 7, 8, all the way to like 90, 100 years old, 110 years old to the day they die.
Mhm.
It's any sex, man, girl, non-binary, if you want to do that, whatever. It just any sex, any gender. And this is why they are how they are from a purely psychological standpoint. And they really are. It's a pure evil mind that's only interested in being the perfect predator. It's
I
not
think they're
interested in
born that
truth.
way too. When you mentioned that they can be very young too, I've seen this behavior. And not, I mean, there's kid or childlike behavior, then there is this behavior. It's different. I've seen it. I think they're wired born this way. I really do.
Yeah, well, that's part of it, but we'll go into because yeah, I mean, if you have an affinity for being a predator, that's if you're born with low empathy, guess what you're likely going to become, right?
It's
So
like
that's
hardware, software. It's a, you can,
yeah,
it takes both. It does take both, but I have seen it
yeah.
just to throw that in.
Yeah, no problem. And so yeah, so it's the thing is, yeah, they're not interested in truth, only power, and it doesn't want to be cured, only enabled. Like as far as they're concerned, there's nothing wrong with them, and everyone else needs to be their slaves.
Yeah, there's
And
nothing wrong
so
with that. Just be my slave. Get married. Okay.
yeah, there you go. That's perfect. And so yeah, egopaths value their lies above all else because to them that's their truth. That's their everything. And so here's something from Eric Fromm, a quote on malignant narcissism, the quintessence of evil, the most severe pathology, and the root of the most vicious destructiveness and inhumanity. Doesn't that sound like that's what we're talking about here?
It really is, and it's such a wide scale right now. It is. Eric Fromm is
Yes.
exactly right on that.
Yeah, and so here's the thing. I personally think that malignant narcissism really is just another word for egopathy, where it's feeding the ego above all else, that utilizes narcissism, preferring delusions over reality, because that helps feed the ego. I don't need to believe in reality. I'm God. And so I view egopathy as the dark factor of personality and the root of all evil. And I really do think that egopathy starts it, even though it starts with cowardice and self-hatred. When they go down that route, as soon as they reach egopathy, they become a complete piece of shit. They're garbage. And again, this is Friedrich Nietzsche. If I cannot have something, no one can have anything. No one is to be anything. Friedrich Nietzsche, The Dawn. And all of this points to the psychological concept known as character disturbance. The egopath is not good. This is who they really are, and they do not want to change a damn thing.
Right, because it works for them.
Yeah, it gives them what they want, and it's a big problem for the rest of us, because when there's too many of them, they're an evolutionary dead end. We should not be getting led by them to the slaughter. They're gonna take us all off a cliff.
They're trying to right now, and as I mentioned earlier, there is a direct correlation between those who are currently in charge or in influence and your personal narcissist that's around you, or narcissists. This is
That's right.
direct correlation. When it's hardware, software, some of these people before may have had the hardware, but we had laws and certain social norms that they were not allowed to behave this way. Now everyone's been given permission to act like this, and this is why
Well, when no one's held accountable, it
nobody's
spirals
held
into a shit
accountable.
show.
Everybody's in their own little world, and it's because of some nasty people that are in the influence right now. This is not going to end well for them. Again, it's happened before, and it's going to happen again. I just hope it's sooner than later and for real this time.
Good. And so, yeah, we'll just quickly cover the little model I made here. So the Self-Adapting Psyche by Connor Wood. So this is just a basic model just to cover a very basic way of learning. So let's just go over it real quick. We'll start kind of in the pyramid there at my personality, who I am. My personality is who I am. It's plain and simple. Now, my identity is who I think I am. My personality might be a piece of shit person. I might think I'm the greatest thing ever. Oh, that might be the ego path. Surprise. And then you have my mentality. This is my current state of mind. This can be I'm happy about things. I'm optimistic about things. I'm maybe really alert. Maybe I'm really calm. That's just the current state of mind. From there, that all factors into your attitude. So you can have many attitudes, but you choose one attitude at a time. And basically, my attitude is going to depend on who you are to me. So, Tier's a good guy, so I'm not in a aggressive mode or in a evasive mode with him. He's a guy that I can trust. So I judge him based on who he is to me, who I perceive him to be, and I don't base him on who he thinks he is, if that makes sense, because I don't know who he thinks he is. I think he's a good guy. I think he thinks he's a good guy, but I don't know that for sure.
Thanks for the plug. All right. Woo. Okay.
Yeah.
Some kudos.
And then from
I think that most of the people that have probably been abused by narcissists probably are generally at least stable people.
Well, I find they do target winners. They target the winners.
They really do. They target people that are winners, that are or at least trying to advance forward. They do. There's a certain target that I think that generally the targets, at least on the other side of this issue, hopefully your identity, who you think you are and who you are, match. And they may be a little out of sync when you're being abused by one of the narcopaths, though.
Oh yeah, they'll try and fuck your reality gap up.
They do. They fuck your reality gap because you're standing there looking at the mask. You're believing this persona that they gave you early on, and for some reason again, it's easier to convince people, or it's easier to fool people than to convince them they've been fooled. And I'm a living example of that. I hate to say.
I think we all are if we've been a victim of these bastards.
Exactly.
Yeah. But so I'll quickly finish this up here. Basically, how the mind adapts is a situation occurs, and then based on your mind, on your psyche, you either get emotions from a situation, like maybe my dog tells me I need to feed her, and I go, oh crap, I gotta feed her, and then I make a decision, yeah, I'm gonna go feed the dog, and then my action is is taken or not taken, meaning I'm gonna go feed the dog. Then you have a memories created. Yeah, I remember feeding the dog. And then you have a memories further processed in the brain to aid in survival. That can, of course, all that can start getting messed up by the ego path. But this is just how a psyche improves itself through memory and experiences. And so, yeah, this little arrow goes down and around, and it says evolutionary built-in survival algorithms like Bayes' theorem, which is adapting to new data, or pleasure-seeking and pain avoidance, advantage-seeking, disadvantage avoidance. It'll categorize the memory, saying, "Oh, did this work? Was it successful? Will this help me?" Which in turn feeds into the personality and overall behavior. So,
well, this is the same software, whether that this one piece here works whether you're a narcopath or not.
that's right. And from this is where the fuck up happens. So as you can see, I have the chain separate from the self-adapting psyche, but what happens when we take a look at the next picture, which is egopathy, maladaptive psyche?
Okay, hang on. Let me find it. All right, I got it.
Beautiful. And you'll notice that pyramid of my personality, my identity, my mentality, it's been, zoomed and enhanced. And in there, of the maladaptive mind, the egopath's maladaptive mind, it's that chain that we talked about. And look at it go from the bottom left, from deciding factors up into identity, the mask of perfection, back down to the personality of egopathy, predatory desire, dark penta of egopathy, depravity, parasitic signals, and then all the way up to my mentality, which is a zero-sum thinking mindset, where it's you win, I lose, but if you lose, I win.
They never get beyond zero.
That's right.
Never get beyond zero. So if you win, I win. Man, we got at least +2, but not with them. Nope, it's a zero-sum game, and that's the way it's going to be from.
That's right. You nailed it. And yes, here I made some notes here. Realize the truth that egopath's word means nothing. Their word is empty. It's empty words from an empty being. All of their promises need to have "for now" added to the end of it. In your head, when they make a promise to you, at the very end of it, you just say "for now."
Yeah,
oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, thank you.
And yeah, and the next one here. So yeah, coincidentally, when you do that, it solves the problem of needing closure from these monsters, because they don't want to help you at all. They want to fuck you over, and then they want to be able to come back to you and do it all over again.
I don't even think they intend that all the time. Like they just I'm gonna fuck you over. I think they just look at whatever the next thing is. With the narcissist, with the sociopath, yeah, they just want to fuck you over, or the sadist. But when it comes to the narcissist, I think they're stupid. I don't think they really know. I think they just chase whatever the next thing is. I don't think.
If they're not busy anymore, they'll try and come back.
I really don't think they're smart enough to understand it. The narcissists that I know none of them are smart. None of them are. And this reads like a book for them. I mean, just exactly. It's like a user's manual for these fucking people.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I keep saying that word "people" like they're people. My dog is more.
Well, I know, but we'll figure out a better word. Parasites. So we'll stick with that maybe. These parasites.
Fuck face. I like that one. I hate these.
I prefer fuckhead. I think
seriously, it's just I know we're in like a this is very cerebral discussion, but it's about something that's not quite your experience with it. It's not quite really cerebral. It can be very deep. So, fuck face.
Oh my God. And yeah, and the thing is, an apology from them is just more empty words. So it's a fake apology or a faux apology. So it'd be silly to need an apology from them because their word means nothing. All of it is just bullshit. It's bullshit, guys. Your closure is going, oh my God, they're a irredeemable fuckhead, and then staying the fuck away from them. That's the closure.
That's exactly.
And another thing that's really important is forgiving yourself. Because what happens is they try and condition you to think that you're the problem. And what you need to do is you need to go, I had no idea I was dealing with such a fuckhead, and I forgive myself. I'm not going to be hard on myself. I got played. I got fucked over. And you know what? They are such a complete fuckhead that they did this to me. And now I know better. And no one's going to do this shit to me again.
Yeah, don't let it make you become, hardened though. That's kind of an issue where people don't trust anyone ever again. You were just around some people that helped condition you into that. Most people aren't like
Oh, yeah,
this.
I
I
agree. I
thought
mean,
the whole
it's still
world was.
important to trust.
Do
Just
what?
yeah,
Say,
it's still important to trust. It's just one of those things where it's like that was the wrong person to give your trust to,
well, and it's
right? That,
usually not just one. Usually we have a pattern of this, and I don't know where it starts. It could happen in childhood, whatever. That's not really relevant to the conversation, but eventually when you move out of that way of thinking, you don't attract those people anymore. Because I can see them coming from a mile away, and I simply do not put up with them.
yes, that's brilliant. And so yeah, let's look at some other little quotes here. I did myself here. I This is my own quote. Fooling yourself is a death sentence for personal improvement. So,
Yeah.
it's really one of those things where if you're making excuses for yourself, for whatever reason, it's like, no, 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 no. Stop fooling yourself. You were preyed upon. You didn't want this to happen to you. No one would fucking want this to happen to you. You got fooled, and you don't have to think that somehow you're to blame for this. You're not. Like, be honest with yourself and be caring with yourself. Have some self-love. That's something that they try and take away from you and try and destroy. But care about yourself. You got to care about yourself.
Have regard. Have the term with the girls. You can care and love yourselves. That's fine. The guys, we have regard for ourselves. And yes, I do separate the genders. But yes, absolutely. Once you start to have some regard for your own thoughts and stop placing any value on whatever they tell you, because it's only for now, you realize that that's worthless currency. When you stop dealing with the currency of the narcissist, you stop the game. Period.
Oh, that's brilliant. And I know that was one of your videos too. That's so good.
Mhm. Like I said, I've been through this a time or two or three. God, more than I even want to admit. But here we are. Connor's explaining my life to me with a diagram. Like, yeah, yeah,
See, Tier, now you know that you've been with a
now
fuckhead.
I finally know it took all this time. It's like, well, where were you back when I needed you? Okay, yeah. So in conclusion,
Yes, so
your saying, by the way. Fooling yourself is a death sentence for personal improvement, Connor Wood. That's very
yep.
nice. In conclusion,
Yes, yes. So um, this is to sort of sum up all of these models and stuff that I've showed. A scientific model isn't meant to cover everything. There's going to be little pieces here and there that haven't been covered, like black and white thinking, but it only needs to cover explanatory power on what it does cover. So what I did cover, I think it's been explained, and Atir, can attest to that. And yeah, I merely touched on their paranoia and black and white thinking, but you can see how it is inevitable given what there is to work with. Like this is them. This is what they are. How can they not have all this other bullshit attached to them? And this is why they attack you with doubt. They can't handle questions that bring them doubt. Whatever hurts them, they try to have it hurt you. That's why they don't want questions, they don't want doubts, and that's why they question you. That's why they attack you with questions, and that's why they try and give you doubts. They project it back. They go, "Oh, this hurts me. Well, it must really hurt you." They really are vindictive and
they are
vengeful.
vindictive, and it probably does hurt. That's why they do it. Their tactics do work. Don't make any mistake that just because we're putting this out or Connor's putting this out in diagrams and making it perfectly clear, their tactics work. All that stuff works, and it works very well for years and years on the victim.
Yeah, it's scary. And if you had this information prior to all that you know what I mean, you could save your life. Yeah.
You know
So
what? I'm glad you said that. Look, I think that there are people that simply are not with us anymore because of this kind of abuse. To get really, really down in this, in your conclusion, there are people, if you are still with us, you have a chance to change your entire life, everything, all the issues, to grow out of this. I guarantee you, not all of us have made it this far. I guarantee you. There are people that have been so abused that they're no longer with us. And if you'd had this information before, I wish they'd make this information, even just the way you've put this out now, this should be like a high school course or maybe even before junior high. I don't know if the little kids would understand it, but this is something that needs to be talked about. This is so, yeah, you could, if people would have this information, it could literally save a life. And I'm not just like trying to be dramatic here, but trust me, there was a time when hell, I was thinking, good Lord, if this is the way it's going to be, so yeah, if you're
Yeah,
thinking
I
about
know
that,
it. Yeah,
yeah, don't
man.
go down. They ruin people. They ruin people's lives. Their tactics work so well. They will ruin people, and these are people that are mothers or wives or people that are close, and they will just fuck your world up for no reason except that they have the mask of perfection and nothing in between, and that you're supply. And after they use you up and you're a husk of a human being, I think people actually, yeah, I'm serious. I think people do actually, commit suicide over stuff like this. So anyhow,
Yeah, and they'll think it's all their fault too.
and they do. And
Yeah.
and also you can't do that because then, of course, the narc wins, and then they get to go. See, I told you he was
Yep.
crazy. I
CC.
see.
Oh
They're the
Jesus.
CC. Exactly what you're talking. CC. I told you he was crazy. Look what happened. After they've destroyed every fucking thing, and shit all over everything that you've ever done for them and everyone else. Very bad news. Very bad news. This stuff could save lives. Absolutely, it could.
Yes. Oh, that's. I thank you for saying that because this leads into this next one here that I thought would be a hard sell.
Actually,
Um,
you're the one that said that.
yeah. Oh wow, I don't remember saying all that, but
Well, you
yeah.
didn't say all of it, but you're the one that brought up saying, if we'd had this information prior, it could probably save a life.
Oh yeah. I remember saying that for Circle Slaves. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All
Oh,
right.
okay. But yeah, man, I don't deserve all that credit, man. You did. That was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Big bows to the crowd. Yes.
And oh god. Okay, yeah. So yeah. The way I look at it is ego paths aren't evil because they became this way, but they are evil because they choose to remain such a monster.
Uh-huh.
You could at one point you could wear the mask of perfection thinking it's a good idea, but as you start hurting people and you keep denying it and go, no, I'm doing the right thing here. It's like, no, you've gone too far. You fucked up. You're done. You're evil. You're fucking evil. And so I don't think it's the initial thing because they became that way. That's their sympathy, right? Oh, I didn't want to be this way. It's like, actually, you choose to remain this way. So fuck you. So,
Yeah, so fuck you. Look, I can give you an example. I know we're wrapping up, but let me give you one example here, a personal one. Like if you were, let's say, in sales, and they're forcing you to make money by wearing a mask or misrepresenting a product, you're going to do it for a while, and then you're going to feel bad, and you're going to quit. Okay, I was forced into a position in it where those above me were expecting me to do things to customers that I wasn't comfortable with. And frankly, between you and me, I did it. That was for my paycheck. And I'm like, no, fuck this. I'm not doing it this way. I'm not with the narcissist. That stuff works for them. They don't care. But see, normal people, and if you have any humility at all or any transparency, you've done something somewhere and you've learned from it. Not the narcissist. They go on to, looks like you have, die cowards.
that's right. Oh, thank you. So yeah, no matter how many second chances they're given, and no matter how many choices they could make, they still choose their precious mask of perfection, their delusions over reality, and that means you or anyone else. They choose their delusions, and if that means getting rid of you and you have to die so that their delusions can live, so be it. They really are a personality of lies upon lies, forever hell-bent on feeding their own ego. They're garbage, and they die cowards. They know other people are happy without a mask of perfection. They've fucking seen it, but they don't dare try for it because they can't live without their mask of perfection. There's so many things they could be happy about, but they don't care at all about what could make them happy. Not when they have their mask of perfection to make themselves feel powerful and important.
Yeah,
And they're not. They're fucking garbage.
exactly. And they deserve it. Just like you said, well, you hate yourself. Like, well, that's the one thing that I can agree on. I hate you too. And there's a good reason. And their tactics work. They work very well on those of us that have not awakened yet. And then when you finally figure it out, then you get then you get a YouTube channel, and then you get to hang out with people who make, these diagrams. You get to go back and kick yourself a little bit here and there, but eventually you come out on top and you have a chance to change your life and to change how you think and to move on. That's just part of the game. That is part of what happens. They will not change. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. They're going to die a narcissist.